Oh, DreamWorks, we can always count on you to make such excellent, high quality films as best as possible. You probably have had some misses and some pretty good ones as of recent, but can you cook as you always do? Can you deliver us some amazing and fantastic anime movies? Can you do that for us? I have hope in you. Please give us something good.
We must become more than we were programmed to be.
The Wild Robot is directed by Chris Sanders with a screenplay by Chris Sanders. The film stars Lupita Nyong'o, Pedro Pascal, Kit Connor, Bill Nighy, Stephanie Hughes, Mark Hamill, Catherine O'Hara, Matt Berry, and Ving Rhames. According to IMDb's plot synopsis, after a shipwreck, an intelligent robot called Oz is stranded on an uninhabitable island. To survive the harsh environment, Ross bands with the island's animals and cares for an orphan baby goose. This year, we saw Kung Fu Panda 4 be released, and, as much as that film was enjoyable, and as much as I enjoyed it, I can't say that it was up there as like high quality films because one, it's a sequel to a series, and two, it just wasn't as how you say like top tier, like maybe like a 9 or a 10. And I was hoping that they could deliver something terrific. I was hoping and I was really wanting to see what they can do with another animated film. And luckily, The Wild Robot could hopefully be as successful as it can be. And well, thankfully, I can say this, it does that in full stride. I really love this film, and it's easily one of DreamWorks' best films to have come out. I really like it. I really enjoyed it. I think a lot of people think that this is an exceptionally exquisite and beautifully rendered film that has so much love and passion and life to it that you almost just are like, wow, they actually made something that is so heartwarming. I can't believe they could still match Pixar. They could still do that. They still could prove that they could be up there on level with them or at the high caliber as them or even above them. And I could say this, I couldn't find a single negative with this movie, which is kind of weird because I thought that there could be something in this film that could have set me off as being like, that's a problem, that's a mistake. No, there was nothing I could find in this movie that was a true negative. So here are just the positives that I have with this movie. The voice acting is fantastic. Everyone in the cast, especially Lupita Nyong'o, are excellent in the film. They bring out the humor and emotion throughout this entire film. I really love their dynamic, especially how the animals interact with Roz and how they first see her as like this monster, this creature, and once she starts to understand the language and understand them, and they understand her, they start to see themselves as a group, as a dynamic. But for a while, they saw her as just this creature that was there to destroy them in some way, or at the very least be like a threat to their natural environment. And thankfully, once she starts to prove to herself through caring for this goose, it starts to show how much that these animals start to kind of respect her and love and appreciate her. And she starts to learn more about what it means to be kind of like a mother in a way because she is caring for this goose. The direction is phenomenal. Director Chris Sanders makes an adventurous and heartwarming tale that the whole family can enjoy, bringing together an emotional film at its core. How Chris Sanders came about this was kind of interesting because I looked it up, and apparently his daughter introduced him to this book that the movie is based on, and he really enjoyed it, and years later he got to make this, and so it seems like he really took cues of maybe what the book is. I've never read the book, so this is me watching this movie. It's my first time understanding what the Wild Robot is. And so I can understand for Chris Sanders, this must have been a very huge passion project for him because of how much he connected with the book through his daughter and their relationship by experiencing reading that book. And so for him to get a chance to direct this, I think is done well because it seems like he really puts all of his love and passion into this project because of how much he enjoyed the book and how much he wanted this to be as heartwarming as it can be. The animation is beautiful. This looks and feels completely different from every other DreamWorks film to date. None of them all look the same. All of them look completely different and unique in their own way, and the Wow Robot is no exception. It doesn't look like Shrek. It doesn't look like How to Train Your Dragon. It doesn't look like Kung Fu Panda. It looks completely, totally uniquely different from every single film that they have had. And every design and scenery looks gorgeous and colorful from beginning to end. The look of this movie is gorgeous with the designs and the shading on the characters, or how a blend of cartoon and shell shading, I want to say it is, but just the way it all looks and is detailed, it looks so incredible and it looks so vibrant that I was just mesmerized by this movie and the color scheme of it all. The music is amazing. Composer Chris Bowers does a score that feels whimsical and powerful during emotional scenes. One of the most beautiful scores for an animated film. Chris Bowers, I have heard this guy's music in a bunch of other films, and to see this was his first attempt at an animated movie, I think he nails it off pretty well, because he does capture the feeling of nature so well, but the adventure feeling of this journey of a robot caring for a goose and watching this goose grow from a baby to a young goose. Then music play into those emotional moments, I think hits the core of what this movie is about, which is motherhood and the importance that mothers are willing to go for their children, or even just adopted children, because really Roz, of course, is not Goose's mother, but she is like a surrogate mother to this goose. And so to have that sort of score that fits the vibe and tone of this movie, I think is excellent in how it presents itself as being emotional in the way it's played with the music. The story is touching, following this robot trying to have a conscience. Caring for a goose and other animals was emotional and funny. True DreamWorks at their finest. DreamWorks has a habit with regards to their movies with stories on how they can find ways to hit you emotionally on the same level, like I said, as like Disney and Pixar. They know how to do that, and for this story, even though it's based off of a book, so technically it's not wholly like original, but the fact that it's taking a story that is about motherhood and having sort of a conscious feeling of artificial intelligence and in wildlife, and how even with robotics, robots can find something imbuing us through having a conscience. And to see Roz have that sort of discovery through caring for this creature, I think is done amazingly, I think it's done beautifully, and is very impactful. The pacing and runtime feels perfect. Every scene feels consistent and tight, with a runtime of 1 hour and 42 minutes, and made for an exciting time. This movie, to me, keeps on going, and there's never a point where it never stalls out or drags on. It feels like it is constantly going, it is constantly telling its story, and it is constantly evolving as the story goes along. And so for that pacing to still rapidly give you enough and not feel like rushed or you're being far behind on the story, I think is done well for DreamWorks on telling this story based on a book. The writing is sharp. Chris Sanders crafts a screenplay that's both heartwarming and hilarious, that makes it for the entire family, truly understanding what the concept is as a whole. Like I say, Chris Sanders, having read the book, he understands that book. He already has a connection with that book through his daughter, and so for him to bring that connection by directing this, I think his writing succeeds in being able to convey the emotion of what the book is trying to say. To have this robot have conscience, it's not wholly like original, but the way this movie plays at that, I think is done extremely well and very heartwarming to see this take on artificial intelligence, and how it's not done through scary methods or through intimidation. It is done through love and kindness, although there is a bit of talk about how the creatures, the animals, see Roz at first, but throughout the movie, they start to appreciate her a lot more, and so they start to respect her in being part of the wilderness. Cinematography is stellar. Cinematographer Chris Stover captures the beautiful look of the forest, whether it's in fall, winter, or spring. All framed so well, so beautiful, captures the animation so gorgeously, and very detailed in the environments with regards to it being fall, winter, spring. It's all done exquisite. The editing is precise. Every scene feels exactly on point with how it flows, all well put together. It all feels connective. It all feels like it all is supposed to connect in this sort of way, and I very much appreciate them making the effort of making sure that this movie flows as it can. The action is fun. Sequences that see Roz using her power sets as well as teaming up with the animals near the end of the movie was creative and intense. The animation makes those sequences fluent to watch. With that animation, it is impressive to see how much the action can feel as exciting and as thrilling as it can be. Because for a movie that is about a robot with animals, you never thought it could get fun with regards to its action, but it's kind of a blast to see how the animation keeps the action as intense and as exciting, and how fluent it is, and how amazingly exciting it can be with how it's conveyed. And it made me just have like kind of like a big smile near the end of the movie. I was surprised on how emotional and fun this movie was. DreamWorks continues to shine bright with their animated films. This may be the in-house DreamWorks last film because yes, after this, DreamWorks will be kind of pretty much giving other animation studios from different places a chance to make their films. But they finished on a banger. I think they really, at the very least, ended with a very excellent and well-crafted film that I hope that when the sequel does come out, and they've announced that, I hope the next studio can carry on with what this movie did, because man, I really truly enjoyed this movie. I'm gonna give The Wild Robot a 10 out of 10. I think it is fantastic. I think it is marvelous. I think it is gorgeous. I think it is one that families will appreciate and love and enjoy, especially with a theme, like I said, of not just artificial intelligence, but like motherhood and how far mothers are willing to go to care for their children. Even if they're not blood related, mothers will do anything for their child, as my mother would know about that. So now, September, it's over, it's done. So now we are moving on to October, starting with the Joker movies, and then hopefully soon Saturday night movie. So yes, look forward to those reviews and other movie TV show reviews coming soon.